always been available to our families. Just by way of introduction, I'm Dr. Genevieve Kumaple, founder of My Goal and Haven International in Ghana. We are incredibly blessed to have Rebecca Zigas, who is a board-certified behavioral analyst, as a professional advisory board and a consultant to My Goal and Haven International. She's worked with us for the last 2 years and providing resources to families overseas in Ghana. And we were just joking a few minutes ago, we were supposed to be heading towards Haven in Ghana to do our training. And of course, because of COVID-19, here we are, but we still found a way on this World Autism Awareness Day to still have a program. And so Rebecca has years of experience, and now she's an international speaker. So we're so excited to have her for the next half hour to talk to us about strategies and things that we can do to modulate challenging behaviors. And oftentimes, I'm sure it comes about because our children and loved ones and young adults are often bored. And so that's sometimes what triggers it. But who am I to say that? I'm just a parent, and this is my thought on it. So at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to Rebecca. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to do this topic today with us. So I turn it over to you now.
Great, absolutely. It's so nice to virtually see everyone. I know that I miss all of our clients and our families desperately. And this is the only way that we all have to connect right now. So I appreciate this opportunity to connect further to other families as well. I will go through the slides. There's a lot of links. Mostly everything is links to other resources. So we'll go through some of those links, but then I will also provide a resource sheet to go with this, so that way you can post Jen with the slides or the presentation so people are able to access these resources directly. So like Genevieve said, a lot, I think, of what I'm hearing from our clients and what I saw in your surveys was not knowing how to fill the time during the day. The days are very long. We don't necessarily want our children watching TV all day, but some days that's totally okay. And with some rainy days, we can't always get outside. So I really just created a compilation of different activities that you can access. Most of them are web-based, to be able to engage your children in different things throughout the day. So I think one of the most important things is to keep your children moving. Sleep, they will sleep much better. They will have better appetites and eat better throughout the day if we are getting them moving. And again, with some rainy weather, it is hard to find activities to do throughout the day while we're inside. So I've shared some resources here that I have been doing with my clients, and a lot of my friends have been doing with their children, that we have found to be very effective. The first one is called Cosmic Kids Yoga. There is a link right here to it. It's a YouTube channel where a lovely woman named Jamie leads children through yoga moves, but they follow children's movies, children's stories, so things that your children might be familiar with as they do the moves. I did this with some of our clients on Monday, and I was out of breath. So it's a good little workout as well. I'm sure some of you have heard about PE with Joe. He is a physical education teacher who is now posting on YouTube 30-minute gym classes for children to participate in. There's absolutely no materials needed. They don't need any supplies. He does it in an empty room in his house. And if you look at the comments, it also looks like it's a very good workout for adults. In addition to his classes, he's also a personal trainer and posts a variety of workouts for adults as well. They are challenging, but they're great to get everybody up and moving. Another option that some of your children might be familiar with is something that a lot of classrooms do when they do what they call brain breaks throughout the day. Go Noodle is another site on YouTube that gives a lot of songs. They're very silly, so if you do them with your children, be prepared to act silly and have fun. but the children generally love to do them. Tons and tons of different songs, different activities, different actions. Some you pretend that you're riding a roller coaster. Sometimes you might pretend that you're in a video game, a variety of different things. So you can search through and see which would be of most interest to your child. Something else that we're doing with a lot of our kiddos is teaching parents how to create obstacle courses in the house. Again, these all have links, but some of them, for example, using toy animals. You can set up animals throughout like a hallway or something, and every time a child jumps over the animal, they need to make that animal sound, or they need to tell you a fact about that animal, or they need to pretend to be that animal. Sidewalk chalk, if you have some sidewalk chalk on a nice day, you can go outside and make all sorts of different obstacle courses. Maybe your child has to hop on one foot, walk a balance beam, things like that. And then you can just use regular things around your house. So think about your kitchen. You have wooden spoons, you have bowls. You can make an obstacle course where a student has to hop on one foot. Then there's a bowl, then they have to pick up the bowl, put the bowl on their head, walk with their arms out while making sure the bowl doesn't fall off their head. It's basically about being creative. Most of these things, almost all of them, don't require any money. Nothing needs to be purchased. All of the websites are free, and all of these different activities you should be able to create from materials that you've just found around your house. Something that we're finding to have a lot of fun with our students with are scavenger hunts. And I found some of these online, so we're just going to go through and share some of them. If you have a child who likes to read or look at picture books, you can do a book scavenger hunt. So you go through and they need to find an animal, they need to find a certain word. So you can use these specific examples, or you can make your own based on your child's interests. Some of these can be done indoors, while others can be done outdoors if we have a nice enough day. Here's an example of things that you can look for in the house. So you can decide if you're going to have your child collect these things and actually like bring them to a central location, say the kitchen table. They have to go get everything and bring it to the kitchen table. And then when they're done, they have to go put everything back. So this makes a nice long activity. If your child has the ability to write or type, you could print this out and they can write where they found the items. They could use their phone to take pictures of the items that they find and then come back and share those photos with you. So we can work on a variety of different skills throughout this based on your child's abilities and needs. Here's one for some of our science children who love inventions and doing different science projects. And this helps with learners who have a higher level of language and who might understand things like finding things that you can turn, finding things that are bumpy. So this would be a great one for students who are very tactile, like to touch things and feel. Here's one for perhaps some of younger learners, finding items that are just based on color, and then moving on to different foods or animals that are based on that color. For some of our math friends, they need to go around the house and find different numbers of different items. So 2 pencils and 1 blue crayon, and then we can sneak in a little addition problem there and say, how many items do you have now? Finding 5 blocks and 2 pennies, how many do you have? Now take away 3 blocks. How many are left? There's a subtraction problem. Then we can move on to our 5 senses. So going through the house and finding things that taste certain ways, smell certain ways, feel, things that you can listen to. And then we have a backyard scavenger hunt, which hopefully we will be able to go outside and explore our backyards a little bit more soon. Finding 3 different kinds of leaves, finding things by color. So the opportunities are endless with the different types of scavenger hunts you can do. You can do them interactively with your child, or if you have multiple children, have them do it as a race, or have them work together to do it. Or you could send your child on their own to go do these things and then report back with their findings. And here's just one more example of a spring scavenger hunt and a nature scavenger hunt. A lot of our students now are also enjoying songs and stories that can be found online. Jack Hartman has been providing songs for as long as I can remember. Again, there are a lot of common and popular songs that your children might know that they can sing along to and dance to. The Lori Berkner Band is very well known among preschool and kindergarten students in our area. She has done several sensory-friendly concerts. Her songs also are very interactive, so your students, or your children, I'm sorry, can dance along with them or just watch and listen. And one of my most favorite recent finds is barefoot books. These used to be a staple in my preschool class when I was a teacher. And there's silly songs and stories that are very sing-songy and very rhymey. And I apologize to all parents in advance, but they will all get stuck in your head and you will be singing them for the rest of the day. But there's some books that everyone knows, such as Wheels on the Bus, to other interesting stories that maybe we haven't heard before. Art activities for your little artists. Something I've discovered recently, which we are doing with some of our students in a weekly group, is called Art Hub for Kids. In this video, there is a father and a son. I believe his son is about 4 years old. And the father is teaching how to go by step to learn to draw different things. We did this yesterday with a group of our students, and it was wonderful to all draw the same thing, but then share how they came out differently. Yesterday, we drew a turtle. We got to color our turtle however we wanted, and then we shared as a group. These directions are so simple that even someone like me, who has absolutely no artistic ability, made a turtle that I'm pretty proud of. Something else that some of our students are enjoying lately are coloring apps that you can download onto any type of device, where it would work on fine motor skills, where you would have to select a color and drag it into the certain area that you want to color. So we're working on that. You can work on identifying colors during those activities, or it can be just something to keep them busy for a little while. Sensory activities would be a great thing to incorporate into your daily schedules these days. I have put up here directions to make your own sensory bottles, and these could be done with water bottles, soda bottles, any type of bottle that has a cap, and then you would at the end glue it on. But it gives you directions on how to fill the bottle with different ingredients and different materials, such as glitter, stickers, things like that. So that way, when you turn the bottle upside down, everything kind of floats through. Something that we're making now with our students are cinnamon ornaments, and we call them ornaments because we traditionally do them during the holidays, where they can hang throughout the house or hang on a Christmas tree perhaps. But it's something fun to do now. It will make your house smell amazing if you happen to have an abundance of cinnamon laying around. And there's 2 different recipes that I found, but you can find a ton online. Some require Elmer's glue and some don't. Some just require cinnamon and applesauce, and then you can bake them in the oven and then hang them around the house or decorate however you want. And they smell wonderful. And then finally, I just wanted to share some additional resources for parents and children. Parents of Autistic Children is another local nonprofit that provides events for children and families with autism. If you click on their events page, which I have linked to right here, they are offering a variety of different activities each day. So I know one morning they're doing a story time. One morning a week, they're doing a yoga class every now and then. So there's a variety of things that you can join. I believe most are to join via Facebook Live. So you would just have to go on their Facebook page and see the different activities. But those are great events to do with your children. And then Autism New Jersey has a very, very comprehensive page full of information on basically anything and anything you could think about related to those with autism and how our families are being affected by this pandemic. There's links to the Department of Education, there's links to different activities, there's links to insurance companies and how insurance is working to help us be able to still provide our services for our families at this time, and they're updating as they get information. So I would absolutely, like that, or go to that website and put it in your favorites for information that continues to come out. So that is what I have for you guys. Does anybody have any questions, any other resources that we want to share with the group that you have found that I haven't included?
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca, for that. So, it's a lot of the information you shared that will be targeted for the younger ones. Are there any resources or ideas for teenagers or, young adults with special needs?
Sure, and I would say some of them, if you look through the resources, for example, the drawing one, even though it's a younger child, some of the things that they're drawing are very difficult. So if you have someone who is a drawer, you could do that. I know there are also a lot of popular and famous illustrators who are doing online classes for free. I think in terms of household activities, it might be helpful for your older children to have a list of, let's say, chores that they've already been taught how to do, or some that you would want to teach. Cooking activities that you can do together, different cleaning activities throughout the house. Now that we're home, this is the time to really focus a lot on those day-to-day daily living skills. But I think the advice that we've been giving to most of our families at this point is that our first goal is to survive all of this. This is a very stressful time. And I think when everything started, families were trying to get chunks of time, upwards of an hour plus, where their child was engaged in something for that full hour. And I think the best advice is to cut those into smaller periods of time. So if you do have a teenager who you want to do some chores, I wouldn't give them a list of chores that would take them an hour to do. I would give them maybe one or two at a time, get a few things done, and then get a break. I think this is the perfect example of this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. We want to save some of our resources. We want to stretch things out if we can. And I think there needs to be that balance of letting our teenagers be teenagers, which sometimes look like sitting on the couch and watching TV, but still placing those demands and expectations of being a member, a participating member of the family.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for that. For those of you who've joined us, we're doing this weekly time with Rebecca. She's sharing some information with us first. We have 10 minutes with her. Somebody's talking. Hang on. So Rebecca is online with us for the next 10 minutes to answer some questions, and on a weekly basis, she'll be sharing information with us. So because of the noise in the background, we muted a number of you. So if you have a question, please unmute your line and ask your question. And like we said, our goal is to really share our ideas and so that we can all find strategies to help our loved ones. So if you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask your question. All of you don't have any questions?
Nothing, everything's going swimmingly. Does anyone want to share something that has been working with their child to help maintain them engaged in activities and things like that?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
I have, yes, my son is 4 years. And about 3-4 months now, he's been slapping himself. That is my problem with him. Anytime he wants something, and you don't give him, he gets angry. He slaps himself so hard that I can't take it anymore. It's so hard seeing your own child slapping himself and you can't do anything to help him.
Absolutely.
What
Yes.
do you think I can do to help him?
I think that it sounds like he's doing it when you are telling him no or when he can't have something. After he slaps himself, do you ever give in and give that item to him?
Up my volume. I can't hear you. Can you please say it again?
Sure. It sounds like he is hitting himself if you've told him no or that he can't have an item.
Yes.
Do you ever give him the item after he hits himself to get him to stop?
I do.
So I would try to do opposite. Either in this time, try to say yes more often, but if you are going to say no, you need to keep it as no, because he's learning that you say no, he hits himself, and then you're going to give it to him anyways. So he's learned that to get it, he has to hit himself, and we don't want to teach him that. Either say yes first, or if you say no, that needs to stand as the decision, and he doesn't get it, even if he hits himself.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Good luck.
Hi, Becca.
Hello.
So this is Ada Ronke.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I have a question. So, what other things can I do with my son? He's non-verbal. He has just very few words.
Okay.
So, apart from the schoolwork that we do in the morning, once we're done, he's not motivated to do any other thing.
Okay.
So after we're done around 12 or 12:30 with the schoolwork, he just wants to watch TV and that's it.
I think there is a balance between that being okay right now and trying to engage him in things that he likes. So what are some of the things that he really likes?
He likes to watch TV.
What does he watch though? Like, what are some of the things that he watches on TV?
Bleepy. It likes the Wheels on the Bus.
Okay, perfect.
But I'm not sure if these videos are age appropriate for him.
How old is he?
He's going to 7 in July. So
I think that, if he, at this point, if he really likes Wheels on the Bus, then that's something that we need to use right now to get participation in things, to increase his motivation. So even if you do some of those videos, the requirement or the expectation is that he imitates, that he still participates in those songs or the videos, even if they're not necessarily age appropriate at this time. If those are what his interests are, that's what we need to use to get him to engage in other activities. Or you can use those things as rewards. So if you say to him, okay, I want you to do this one activity, and as soon as it's done, then you can watch Blippi for 5 minutes, and then, or an episode or whatever. When that's done, you need to do one more thing. After you've done that activity, then you can watch Blippi again. So using those things that he only wants to do, he can earn them for doing what you want him to do.
okay.
But I would keep what you want him to do limited to like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have any questions for Rebecca? You can unmute yourself to speak. And what about, do people have tips or things they've been doing to occupy their children? And I guess generally some things that you want to share that other parents can learn from. I guess we're all experts, huh?
So, quick question. Is there a way we can have access to this resource that you shared today? Or
Yes, I will share it with Genevieve.
okay.
And I will also, so everything in here has links embedded into the PowerPoint.
Okay.
I will also create a reference sheet in case you can't click on the link. So that way you'll have the title that's here and then the link will be directly under it. And I will share that with Genevieve to post and share however she can.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's perfect because we need you to give us an evaluation back or answer a survey question. So just email us. So we have everybody who is online today so we can share these resources with you. You know, a number of the things that she shared in there. I think one thing that I want to encourage everybody with this is that, like she said, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This may be the season where we develop, you know, connection with our children by trying different things, right? And even if it looks like they don't have an interest in that activity, expose it to them because exposure is one of the key things. They might not show interest the first day you expose them to it. Over time, they might come to like it. I mean, this is my journey with Nicholas. There was a time that he didn't even want to look at the iPad. It took years and eventually got to the place where now he's with it, right? So exposure, 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 and then educate and then try it. So I think that would be great. So we have a link on the chat box in there. We need you to click on that or take that, copy and paste it and respond. And when you respond, you include your email. And once you do that, we will send you this PowerPoint presentation that she's given us. And then also we've also recorded this thing so that this way we can share it on other social media platforms. So if there's no additional questions, like we said, think about your questions. Next week, Rebecca will be on again. We'll share some more information. And we want to really use this as an opportunity to ask you more difficult questions that you'll probably have to go see a BCBA for. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, she's been a great source of resource to me personally and also to our team in Ghana. And I want to welcome all our Haven families from Ghana who have joined in today. We'll be having a special session for the Haven families in addition to this one. So like we said, we want to welcome everyone for being online with us. And Rebecca, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for everything that you do for our families and also for the community at large. So at this time, there's no additional question for Rebecca. We'll end it and we will connect again next week. But this evening, it will be late for the Ghana folks, but I will set up a separate time. But for those in the US, I will be coming back online to do an empowerment session. How do we connect and how do we get through this together? It will be 7 p.m. on the same line. So please do join back in at that time, which is 4 hours. We're a little bit, for 3.5 hours from now. All right. So on that note, thank you everybody. And we join you next week.